The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of either Spectrum Generations or Time Warner Cable. Mature Lifestyle is made possible by Hollywood Slots of Bangor, where every player's a star, and by Knowlton Hewins Roberts Funeral Homes and Cremation Service. Our homes are warm and welcoming, and we take care of you and your family like we would our own. Call us anytime. We are here for you.
It's summertime in Maine, the snow is gone, and the trails are open. We're here today at the Rotary Centennial Trail in Benton, Maine. And I have a couple of guests that I think you're really going to enjoy. I'm Dot Freeman, this is Mature Lifestyle. I'd like you to meet my first guest. This is Kristen Simoneau, and Kristen is a health educator with MaineGeneral Prevention Center. And Kristen is actively involved with a program called Move More, movemore.org. And it's all about movement, and it's all about nutrition, physical health, nutritional health, and she's tied into the trails. We'll pull that all together for you in just a moment. So, Kristen, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us what you do at MaineGeneral Prevention Center. What's your role?
I'm a health educator, and we have a ton of different focuses, and physical activity and nutrition being some, and tobacco, and colorectal screening, breast cancer screening, substance abuse. So this is just part of it, but we really like it. So.
And you reach out to the community so that people
do.
know that they have opportunities for physical activity and nutrition. Let's talk for a moment about the physical activity. We're on the trail. It's a lovely, lovely summer morning here, and we are in Benton, Maine, which is in Kennebec County. Now, your program, movemore.org, serves both Kennebec and Somerset counties, is that right?
Yep.
And you work with maybe 50 or 60 different towns and the people in those towns so that they can partake of these activities.
Yep.
What kinds of activities and where do you fit in with the trails?
We offer the walking club, which we just finished up, and we do that in the spring and the fall. And we did that twice a week for 4 weeks, so we were able to expose people to the trails that are around, and that helps people feel safe because there's a group of people, and it gives them an opportunity to see trails they might not see before, and they get to meet new people. And we also find out what people are interested in. If you're interested in different walking around the area, it might not be on the trails, it might just be through the streets. We'll go through the streets and find a trail, and we'll map it out for you. And we give people different opportunities, and we like to hear what other people want so we can try to build our program and to really serve the community.
Now, can people go to your website and find out what kind of walking opportunities are available? And that's movemore.org.
Yep.
And what trails do people participate in, and how many people have participated?
For the recent walking club that we had, this trail was one of them, and we had the Quarry Road. There's one at the Alphon Center.
That's in Waterville.
Yep, this one was all Waterville based.
All Waterville based.
And we're hoping to expand that to Augusta in the fall. And we had, I would say, between 8 and 10 people every class. Rain and all, we had to reschedule some of them, but. So and I think only a few people had known each other. So some people had met each other and are going to continue walking through the summer at different trails together.
Sure.
So.
Now, how long is the trail walk? Is it a mile? Is it 5 miles?
It really depends. We really encourage the time frame, which they say 150 minutes a week of physical activity. So we have an hour for our program. So I try to watch the clock, and at half an hour, I'll just kind of say, we might want to turn around now. And then they all compare with their pedometers. They all wear pedometers, and they see how many steps they got and how much that equals out to miles.
What kinds of numbers are you getting on the pedometers? How far are people walking? How many steps? Do you know?
It really depends on what trail it was. I think one day we had probably 2.5 miles in one of the walks. So and they actually wanted to keep walking after, and I'm not going to stop them. If they want to walk until 6:30, not 6, then we'll encourage that. So
now, are these morning walks, afternoon walks?
This program specifically was in the evening. It was 5 to 6.
Okay.
So, and we had 8 different trails that we went on. So
now, a lot of the people who watch Mature Lifestyle are 50 forward. You're not in that group, but I assume you know some people who are. What about the people who participated in your class? Were these youngsters, oldsters, a mix? What'd you have?
We had more of the older folks. I mean, they were still working, and I think we had maybe 1 or 2 that were retired. So we had a good range there, and
men and women.
All women this time.
Is that right?
So I'm not sure what we'll see in the fall. Maybe we'll have some husbands joining or some men joining as well.
You need to do something to get the fellas involved, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on. We're intimidating, I think.
How do you find that people want even more trails to visit?
Yeah, and some people had their own ideas on different trails that they might like to explore in the fall, because we will offer it again. So, and trails in Augusta, that was another comment I had heard.
Now, are the trails all out in the woods, or don't you do some things that are actually walking through towns and villages?
Yeah.
How does that work?
The 2 Cent Bridge Trail actually is pretty close. It's on the water, but it's pretty close to the road as well.
Sure, right in Waterville.
Yeah, and same with the North Street Alpha Youth Center one. That one goes right along the side of the road as well. So there's some are in the woods, some are through trails like this, and some are on the street. So we try to mix it up and give people options.
Now, MoveMore.org is a collaborative, it's a coalition, it's alliance. Tell me some of the people that are involved in that, some of the organizations.
We have our local group, which is Live Healthy, Inland Hospital, Greater Somerset Public Health Collaborative, and it's the Greater Waterville Patch, which is the planned approach to community health, and MaineGeneral. We're the ones that meet and kind of talk about the needs, and we set up the walking club. But we also have support from the schools and different work sites. And
tell me about some of the schools that participate.
We have some schools like to have movers, and so they'll
What's
have
a mover?
A mover is a person who really encourages the physical activity, and we provide a training for them to tell them about what's available. So these trails, and we also have little incentives that we give them. And,
like what?
Aprons and the blinky lights that you wear,
well, of course,
so people can see you in the evening and dusk hours. And so we meet with them, and when new stuff comes out, they've just changed. They don't have the My Pyramid anymore. They have the plate. So as we get more information about that, we'll offer a nutrition kind of education session, so these movers can then expand it out to the enrollees that they have within their work site, whether that be the school.
And what are some of the work sites?
We just worked with KV Cap and Hudamaki, and so we're making some leeway there. So.
Very good, very good. So focusing on physical activity and nutrition, and as you said, we've just gone to the new plate to focus on what the nutritional elements of a diet ought to be.
And what it should look like.
And what it ought to look like. Tell us about that. What do you think?
I think it's
great. You think
great.
this new plate works?
I think it's going to work. I think it makes a lot of sense to have something that people can actually visualize and see, okay, I should have this much meat on my plate and this much fruits and vegetables. So I think the visual will be really important.
Well, in Maine, we tend to be something of a sedentary population. Are you finding that people are responding to this idea?
I think so. I think we'll see it. It's a fairly new concept. It's been around, but I think now that they're really starting to promote it, I think we'll see that it really helps.
Very good. So. Kristen Simoneau will be talking more, MoveMore.org. We'll be back in just a moment.
There's no place like Hollywood. From the newest slots to blockbuster jackpots and all the excitement you can handle. This is where you're in the spotlight. You're the star. A place where the action never stops and the night is always young. Hollywood, the name says it all.
Spectrum Generations. Live healthy, live well. Get answers, get connected. Spectrum Generations, specializing in the art of aging.
Life should be celebrated. It's a special day when family and friends gather together to celebrate the life of a loved one. A celebration of life helps us honor our loved one and keep our memories alive. Whether you're planning a traditional funeral, a creative celebration of life, or a blend of both, at Knowlton Hewins Roberts, we are truly committed to meet the personal and unique needs of you and your family. Knowlton Hewins Roberts. Visit us online or visit our 2 locations in Augusta and Winthrop.
Here we are at the Rotary Centennial Trail in Fairfield, Maine, and this particular trail, 1.5 miles long, is named for the Rotary International, which celebrated its centennial in 2005. And on this beautiful, beautiful summer morning, I'm joined by my hiking buddies. This is Gizmo the hiker and Jelly the hiker, and dogs are allowed on the trails, the Kennebec Messalonskee trails, as long as they're under control. And these 2 appear to be somewhat under control, so I'll put them down for just now. And I'd like you to be introduced to Mike Gallagher. And Mike's on the board of the Kennebec Messalonskee Trail Organization, kmtrails.org.
Right, we usually shorten it to the KM Trails. It's easier to say, yeah.
How long have you been on the board, Mike?
Gosh, I think I started in 2006 or 7, probably 2007.
And what got you interested in KM Trails?
Well, I worked for the Department of Conservation, the Maine Department of Conservation, Parks and Recreation Division, and was really working with trail groups throughout the state and other recreation groups. So it was natural to just kind of do it locally as well as do it in my professional career. And it just seems to be something I enjoy.
How large is the organization? KM Trails is a membership organization.
It's a membership organization and anyone can be a member. We have probably at the moment somewhere in the area 60 to 70 members. It's very simple to join. We have a website, kmtrails.org, and on there is a link to you can actually join or donate to the organization.
Great. So it's a 501c3 nonprofit, so all gifts are tax deductible, so you may want to consider supporting this trail financially. But if you'd also like to find out about membership, what does membership get one?
Well, it of course gets you the chance to support a wonderful organization. It does get you a quarterly newsletter, which comes out electronically. You also come to our annual meeting, which is like the state of the trails, typical state of the union, state of the trails type thing. Our president, Peter Garrett, does a wonderful presentation at those events and lets people know what is going on, what's the major event that's happening in one particular year and what we've done in the past year.
Now, Peter Garrett's name is a prominent one associated with the trails. Tell us a little bit about Peter Garrett.
Well, Peter is one of those people who just has the knack for finding folks who are interested in something and then putting them to use. And he's been instrumental, as well as several other folks, in developing the trail and seeing that it really does function. Peter works actually he has retired now, but he lives in Winslow and has worked in Waterville for many, many years. So he knows everybody and he's not afraid to ask somebody, what can you do to help us?
In addition to individuals, there are businesses and other civic service organizations that play a central role in KM Trails.
That's true. That's very true. Central Maine Power has been a real good supporter to us. For instance, this is basically a right-of-way, a power line right-of-way, and that has been granted by the Central Maine Power that we may use it for the trail purposes. This little kiosk that we have over here was actually donated and built by Hammond Lumber. So we have those kind of things happening, and the owner of this property, a local businessman, a contractor, Len Poulin, did a lot of the work on the trail and provides the access to the trail.
Now, as we've been standing on the trail, we've had a number of people walk through, people who walk every morning. A couple of very, very beautiful Irish setters just went past, and we saw an individual who seems to be recovering from either an accident or some kind of physical trauma, who is using a couple of canes and walking on this trail. And you were telling me that the work is ongoing, and on this particular trail where we are in Fairfield, we're on something of a steep incline, and it's a bit rocky, but that's going to be changed. What's going to happen here to make this more accessible, handicap accessible?
Well, it's one of our goals to make sure that there are places for anybody of any ability to get that recreational activity, especially the walking. And here, as you mentioned, there is a slight slope which is covered by a rocky ground cover, and we are going to take that away and use a separate piece of land here to make a new access parking lot with a serpentine slope that will come at an angle that's accessible to someone either walking with canes or in a wheelchair.
Absolutely. Well, the role of landowners is very important to the whole KM Trails project. I believe that about $2 million has been invested in the 6 trails that have been developed by KM Trails since, is it 2002?
We started actually incorporating in 2002, but the first real work began with basically this trail, and that was in the end of 2003, early 2004.
And where did the $2 million come from? Where?
Well, the major portion of it comes from federal funding through Department of Transportation or Department of Conservation, where there are 2 excellent trail funds that match locally raised money. And not just money, but also donations. For instance, as I mentioned, we had folks donate labor and materials to build this kiosk, and that goes to match the federal money.
Sure.
So the $2 million is a total, and of that, a lot of it comes from the federal funds. Local funds go into it too. The town of Benton, which we're actually in Benton on this trail for most of it, they put money into it each year for maintenance and for upkeep. The towns of Waterville, Fairfield, and Oakland have all put money into the trails. The excellent trail in Oakland, the Messalonskee Stream Trail, majorly due to the efforts of the town of Oakland. They did a wonderful job over there.
Now, there are in fact 6 trails, is that right?
6 at the moment.
And what are those trails? Tell us where those are
See
in
if I can
central Maine,
remember.
okay?
We have, of course, the Fairfield Trail here. We do have the Kennebec Messalonskee Trail in Oakland. We have the Alphonse Center North Street Trail, which is in Waterville.
Waterville.
And a new one just developed practically across the street from that, the Quarry Road Recreation Area.
Yes.
Waterville's putting a great effort into that one, and that will be a tremendous area for folks who like to do winter sports, especially snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. But it's also available in the summer and good weather.
Now, is that trail ready to go now? Are more things happening?
No, it's open, but there's still going to be more development. But someone can go there now and use it.
What kind of additional development are you going to see at that?
Well, the town has just put some ideas together to develop additional recreation facilities out there. So that they're going to make it a very well-rounded area, so you can find almost anything you'd like to do. Team sports, you could do the walking, the hiking, cross-country skiing, etc.
Well, congratulations to the people of Waterville.
They've done a great job.
That's...
And getting back to other trails, Inland Hospital has done a wonderful job too. They have developed trails behind the hospital that use area that was partially developed but has now just been improved for walking through the woods up through Pine Ridge. Actually, you can walk right down to the Pine Ridge recreation area from Inland Hospital. You can actually get up and see the airport if you're interested in seeing planes take off. They did a good job there. They also got federal funds for that. And they're putting in a paved trail behind the nursing home, which is part of Inland Hospital. And that will be for accessibility for the handicapped individuals, a person in a wheelchair or canes or whatever.
Now, all of these trails are also part of the East Coast Greenway, is that?
Well, not
or a segment
totally.
Of that?
This trail here has been identified. The Benton Rotary Trail has been identified as a segment of it.
And what is that? Because that goes from Caribou down to Key West, Florida,
it's
isn't it?
Calais.
From Calais.
It starts in Calais. It goes from Calais down to Key West. And it's really intended so that someone could start in Calais or start in Key West and hike or bike up the whole East Coast.
Goodness.
And it's using already existing trails and some offshoots, which is basically what this is, because this trail does not have an actual access at that end yet, but it will in the future. But right now it's an offshoot that you can maybe just enjoy as a kind of additional area to walk on if you're doing the through hike.
Right. So people can contribute financially. They can also make in-kind product donations.
Oh, yes.
What about landowners? If there's a landowner who says, I have some property, can they talk with you about it to see if it's an appropriate possibility for a trail? Are you?
Yes, we'd be really pleased to have folks that have ideas for use of their land as trails. The thing is that most landowners at first might be reluctant to put their land up for use for recreation of some type, but the more you know about what trails do for your property as well as just for the community, I think the more easy it becomes to say, sure, I'd be willing to do that.
What are some of those things that it does for the landowner? What's a benefit to a landowner if they want to help support this project?
The number one, and I think this is proven throughout the U.S. and even through Canada, it probably will increase the value of your property, because homeowners and people moving into a new area are looking for things to do, especially for their children and even for mom and dad when they're home on a holiday or whatever. But a recreational use of a trail nearby to a property or even abutting the property has been proven to raise the real estate value.
Are there other landowners that would be willing to talk to a prospective land donator? Is that how it's done? Do they make an actual donation of the land, or do they retain ownership of it? How is that arranged?
It could be any one of several ways. It could be an actual donation of the land, but we as an organization do not at the moment own any of the properties that the trails are on.
I see.
They may be owned by the town, but a lot of them also are just rights of way. For instance, as I said, Central Maine Power, they have these trails that are in existence now for snowmobiles and ATVs, many of which go along the rights of way, and we take advantage of that also. So a landowner does not have to give up the property. They can either lease it or they could give it as an easement, and many different ways to retain property ownership but still allow use of it.
It would seem to me that this is something that municipalities might be interested in as a way of making their community more livable, more enjoyable, and that they could also partner with you and might not know about that. Is that something that's possible to discuss also?
That's exactly what we like to do. Peter likes to call us a catalyst. They get those things going where we partner with someone else and get operations going and something put down on the ground, a trail in functioning use. But we don't, as I say, own the property. Often we don't even maintain it, although we do have people in many cases who help and in some cases kind of coordinate the maintenance of the property. This trail, Bob Morissette, is what we call the maintainer, and his company is providing maintenance for this trail.
And what does that involve?
Well, it will be the cutting of the grass along the edges of the trail. There will be maintaining the surface of the trail, looking for washouts, trees or something that may be down to block the trail need to be removed. So it's really kind of upkeep as it happens. It's nothing major generally, because this is a pretty level basic trail. It doesn't have a lot of ups and downs like Messalonskee Stream Trail has more of a upgrade and occasional hilly surface. So that needs a little bit more maintenance too.
Now, this particular trail is 1.5 miles long.
Right.
Are most of the trails about that length, or are they longer?
Well, it varies actually. This is, as you say, 1.5. The trail in Oakland, Kennebec, Messalonskee Trail, is actually about 2.5 miles. Mm-hmm. We're hoping to extend that another 2 miles further north, and then we're working to see if we can get permission from Central Maine Power to do that. And then other trails like the North Street Trail in Waterville is anywhere from 3/4 to 1.5 miles, depending on how you do it. 3/4 to about 1.5 miles. The trails inside the Quarry Road, the total there, I may not be totally accurate, but I think you could probably get a 2 to 3 mile walk out of that.
So you have the trails such as this one, and we have people walking past us on the trail all morning. There's quite a bit of activity out here today. We're out in the country here, but you also have the trails that are more in the city, behind Inland Hospital or in Waterville. Do you find that both get equal amounts of use, or do some people take the trail in Waterville during their lunch hour as a way of getting out and getting some exercise?
I think that is the case, and the health orientation groups out of the hospitals, Inland and MaineGeneral, both advocate walking, and both hospitals have direct access practically to a trail. And then we just opened one in Winslow. The Winslow Trail is behind the elementary school on Benton Avenue, and that's about a 3/4 mile trail. Again, it's level surface and good for a person who has some handicap or not really able to hike a more difficult trail.
Sure. Now, Maine General and Inland Hospital, both of those hospital healthcare organizations have been wonderful partners, haven't they?
Oh, they have. They provide folks who are deeply involved in athletic and recreational activities. They have the energy and manpower to help sometimes with the construction and maintenance of the trails. And they just have an attitude that hiking and walking, outdoor activity, biking is just good for your health, so why not be involved?
And didn't you tell me that there are some physicians that are actually writing prescriptions for people to go on the trails?
We have a board member who's working with local physicians that instead of a doctor saying, well, here's a prescription for pills, go take these, the prescription will be to go for a walk at whatever level you can do, like walk half a mile a day for a week, 2 weeks, then improve it to 3/4 of a mile. This would be a wonderful way for someone to get healthier without taking pills or doing something that's maybe not as good for them.
Instead of taking a pill, take a hike.
Take a hike.
When your doctor tells you to take a hike, you'll want to come to Kennebec Messalonskee Trail Organization. It is good health, and we also know that in Maine, about 60% of the population is overweight or obese, so get out and move is important for all of us. Healthy hearts, healthy minds.
That's certainly the truth.
And it's a good way for communities to get together too, isn't it?
It is. It provides wonderful activity all around.
Mike Gallagher, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. So if people have a question, they want to talk to you or Peter Garrett, they can go to kmtrails.org.
Right.
Is there a number to call?
No, we don't have an office. We're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid for doing this.
So online is the way to get connected with you.
That's the way to reach us.
Terrific. If you're a municipality or you're a landowner, if you're a volunteer, you just want to be a donor, maybe you want to be a member of kmtrails.org, hope you'll take this opportunity and get in touch. And if you want to see Mike Gallagher, he's always ready and welcome to come and talk with people about his passion, which are these trails in central Maine.
Spectrum Generations. Live healthy, live well. Get answers, get connected. Spectrum Generations, specializing in the art of aging.
There's no place like Hollywood. From the newest slots to blockbuster jackpots and all the excitement you can handle. This is where you're in the spotlight. You're the star. A place where the action never stops and the night is always young. Hollywood, the name says it all.
You know, these shows on mature lifestyle are always a lot of fun for me, and I hope that they're interesting for you. But today you had the opportunity to come outdoors in the great state of Maine with us, and you got to meet Kristen, and you got to meet Mike, and you see what community members working together can accomplish in our state. There's a role for Kristen, there's a role for MaineGeneral Prevention Center and for Inland Hospital and Healthy Maine Partnerships. There's a role for private individuals. There's a role for all of the community organizations that pitch in. But there's a role for you. This is your state. These are your trails. They're here for us, and all we have to do is come out. I'm Dot Freeman. This is Mature Lifestyle, and hey, we're waiting for you. Come out soon.
Mature Lifestyle is made possible by Hollywood Slots of Bangor, where every player's a star, and by Knowlton Hewins Roberts Funeral Homes and Cremation Service. Our homes are warm and welcoming, and we take care of you and your family like we would our own. Call us anytime. We are here for you.